President Clinton arrives in Japan for his first international summit meeting. We'll tell you what it means to the U.S. economy.
The mighty Mississippi, a river growing into an ocean. Now it's pitting neighbor against neighbor.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather at the Economic Summit in Tokyo and Connie Chung in New York.
Good evening. Here in Tokyo, it is Wednesday morning already, a damp Wednesday morning, and leaders of the world's wealthiest nations are set to open their economic summit in a time of trouble for all of them. President Clinton has already met with Japan's Prime Minister Miyazawa, trying to ease tensions between the world's two biggest economic powers.
More weather trouble to report tonight. Hurricane Calvin is threatening the southwest coast of Mexico tonight with top winds of close to 100 miles an hour. A hurricane warning is in effect for a stretch of coastline north of Acapulco. Heavy rains are forecast along with possible flash floods and mudslides.
Dark clouds are also drooping like draperies over this economic summit in Japan. Recession and unemployment have all 7 economic superpowers in their grip, and that is threatening relations between Japan and its most important ally, the United States.
People are now rather fed up. Let's try something else.
There is a sort of disappointment.
Here in Tokyo, in this summer of discontent, there is openly expressed anger. A nation that normally insists on quiet harmony appears to be politically coming apart. The host government for the economic summit is paralyzed by scandal and faces a hostile electorate in just 12 days. There's more hope for the Tokyo Giants moving up from second place than there is for trade talks between the U.S. and Japan.
Like many Japanese, many of us on this team are baseball fans, and sometimes games go into extra innings.
For Americans who want to sell products in Japan, it seems less like extra innings than delay of game.
They just don't want our apples in the Japanese market.
It's a prime example of Japanese protectionism. They're strong-willed. They're very strong personalities. Even though they're very condescending, they don't change their mind easily.
But the Japanese are changing. The ruling party, long associated with protecting the interests of farmers and big business, is losing its grip. The polite vows of politicians hide the ferocity of a new battle for power. Kazuo Aichi, a younger lawmaker, left the ruling party for a new approach.
We have to change the system from business-oriented to consumer-oriented.
That business orientation has dominated Japanese life. Business powered this nation out of the rubble of World War II. But now, business is hurting, and the recession has reached even this economic powerhouse.
Nakayama speaking from Japan.
Tomo Nakayama used to sell helicopters for a living. Now, most companies aren't buying.
The market, just went down as if it's collapsed.
Unemployment may be only 2.5%, but in Japan, that's the highest number in 5 years, leaving stores with few eager customers.
Now everything is changing in Japan. After the bubble economy, customers, they are spending less than before.
Many Japanese businesses say there may never be a return to the explosive growth of the 80s.
We cannot always blow up the balloon. There's a limit.
There is also a small but growing awareness in Japan of limits to resources.
Mitsubishi is the largest corporate destroyer of rainforests right now.
Across America this summer, environmentalists are urging a boycott of one huge Japanese company. Mitsubishi says it's replanting the forest, but for a nation that depends on foreign resources, talk of environmental limits is deeply sobering. Adding to Japanese discontent this summer is an awareness that economic power has not brought a particularly good life. Most Japanese endure crowded living space, bone-shattering commutes, and punishing work schedules. Even business leaders now predict a change in Japan's work ethic.
In simple terms, we really have to be more serious about improving the quality of life in Japan.
As nations gather here after the Cold War with their interrelated but battered economies, a new generation is watching.
Younger generations like us are very open, but still there are many politicians, older generations. They consider national interest is. But national interest is what is national interest without having, international partnership.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, live from Tokyo and New York, protecting the president and other world leaders from terrorists here in this ancient land of the rising sun.
人気のあった自家用ヘリコプターをバブル崩壊後手放す企業が増えています。
埼玉県にあるこの飛行場には販売を待つヘリコプターが収められています。この日飛行場を訪れたのはシンガポールから来たヘリコプターの仲介業者です。この業者は今年の2月から日本のヘリコプターの輸入を始め、これまでに2機扱っています。買い付ける予定をしていたのは不動産会社が所有していたものです。役員の出張やゴルフの接待などに利用されていましたが、会社の経費を節約するため去年売りに出されていたものです。
As I said, they tend to be very well maintained, usually low hours for the age of machine. For example, this machine is 1986, has 300 hours, and because of that, they tend to be in very good shape. So it's always worth having a look at what is available here when a company such as myself is in the market to buy.
ヘリコプターは整備などの必要経費が年間数千万円かかり、これは税金の控除の対象になります。そのため税金が安くなり、しかもヘリコプターは財産として残ります。そうした理由からバブル経済と言われた3年前にはヘリコプターを買う企業が続出しました。日本の中古ヘリコプター売ります。こうした広告が去年の秋から目立つようになりました。ほとんど使っていないものでも新品のおよそ半値になっています。中古ヘリコプターの販売を請け負っているこの会社では、毎日のようにヘリコプターを売りたいという申し込みが来ています。買いたいという海外の希望も多く、今年すでに10機の商談をまとめています。
今なら日本に来れば割安で機体が買えるという状況の下で、弊社の場合ですね、毎週のように、外国のバイヤーさんが来られて、私どもの方でご案内して、そして機体を見ていただいて買っていただくと。そして大体月に3機あるいは4機というようなペースで輸出をしていると。
ヘリコプターを売りたいと申し込んできたのは不動産会社や差し押さえたヘリコプターを処分したいという金融機関などです。不動産会社が所有していたヘリコプターはシンガポールから来た仲介業者に買われました。値段は買った時の半値にも満たない6200万円です。
Well, obviously, I'll see what's available, and if the situation is right, then there's no reason why not to buy more. Yeah.
景気の回復が思わしくない今、ヘリコプターを売りたいという企業は増え続けています。バブル経済の中で買われたヘリコプターが海外に売られていく動きは当分続きそうです。